Mr. Secretary, I wanted to again thank you for taking the time to meet the chairman and myself for lunch yesterday. It's very important for this committee and the State Department to have a good working relationship. And I believe the commitments you made yesterday go a long way in advancing a constructive working relationship. We won't always agree, but I think the constructive working relationship is very important. So one thing we discussed, and I'd be grateful if you would reaffirm it here today, is your commitment that the State Department will respond in a timely fashion to the requests for documents and information that come from myself or the chairman or our staff.
Absolutely, Congressman Engel.
Thank you. I wonder if you would also clarify, as you did yesterday, the Department's policy regarding the necessity of a chairman's letter for certain types of information, so we're clear about that.
Certainly. Subject to legal restrictions imposed because of executive privilege, my policy and the Department's policy will be to be as responsive as we can be, both in responding to phone calls, to requests for documents. A call from any member of this committee, a request from any of this committee is a high priority for the State Department. You have my commitment on that, and if we fall down on the job, please let me know, and I'll remedy that situation.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And Secretary Tillerson made the same commitment, and when it wasn't being fulfilled, I went to him again, and he reaffirmed the commitment. So I'm pleased that you're reaffirming that as well. I'd like to read something to you, and I quote, "We will eliminate overlap, set priorities, and fund only the work that supports those priorities. We will empower our people to make decisions and hold them accountable for the results. This begins with the chiefs of mission in our embassies around the world. We will give our chiefs of mission the tools they need to oversee the work of all U.S. government agencies, empower them, and engage them more fully in policy making in Washington." It sounds basic, but it's the kind of change that will help us tap the full potential of our civilian power. That's the end of the quote. Does this sound like it aligns with Secretary Tillerson's vision for improving the Department? There is a 2010 QDDR report, and I'm quoting from the 2010 QDDR. Secretary Tillerson recognizes the need for modernization of the State Department, and both of his immediate predecessors saw it as well. But one of the criticisms of the QDDR effort, including from our committee, is that it failed to realize many of its goals. So in my opinion, I'd like to hear your opinion, one of the reasons we failed was a lack of funding. This document is full of important and insightful ideas, but because these ideas were not linked with resources, they didn't lead to the transformation of the Department in the ways we had hoped they would. Where the Secretary's reorganization makes this State Department more effective, you'll find enthusiastic support from this committee on both sides of the aisle. But how can the administration carry out real or lasting reforms, including an IT modernization that's currently dramatically under-resourced, when you've tied your hands with respect to the budget?
Well, as we discussed yesterday, Congressman Engel, one of the key goals of the redesign is to empower our men and women, our ambassadors in particular, the chiefs of mission, who are in the field implementing U.S. foreign policy. That's one of our overriding goals. It's been clear from the Secretary's first day on the job. As we also discussed yesterday, the budget process to which you refer started before Secretary Tillerson was confirmed and took office. So he came on board, I followed several months later. We had a budget process that was already underway. The redesign effort, as I've said in other contexts, the Secretary would have been taking this redesign effort even if we'd had a budget increase. It's important for us to find efficiencies in the Department, to be good stewards of the taxpayer money, but there will also be areas, as you've noted, where as we go forward, particularly with respect to IT infrastructure, where we will in the future need investments. And the Secretary has made a commitment to the Department, and I will repeat it here to this committee, where we need more resources to do our jobs more effectively, we will seek them. IT is one area where I predict we will need assistance in the future in reforming our IT infrastructure.
All right. Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank